Hi, Leo family. It's December. Here we are at the end of one of those years that can leave you mystified. And December, one thing I'm going to say about it, just as an overarching message, is that this is a month that you want to be soft and gentle and take your time incorporating what you've learned and listening in. And it's a really important time to do that. Also, speaking of listening in, I have created year ahead forecasts for every sign. It's on Vimeo. I will leave the link below if you would like to link over to that. I recommend this for sun and rising, so depending on which of those signs is connecting more with you, check that out. But yeah, December is a time of reflection. It is a time for us to collect and gather. And I think the thing is that we're going to want to be greedy in December, right? Because there's this whole Julian calendar thing going on. There's this whole solstice thing going on where it's like, we're supposed to be reset. We're supposed to be on this one path. We're supposed to have everything figured out by this date so that we can start doing stuff on this date. But, we all know that at some level is just something that we create to make sense of the world. And while there are, world shifts and light shifts and all of that kind of help us make sense of time, really we're always in an ongoing process, right? So I want you to remember that before we even get into December. Part of the reason that I'm just taking a moment here, I will start shuffling by the way, is because look, when December starts, we still have a Mercury retrograde. In fact, on December 1st, that Mercury retrograde moves from Sagittarius back into Scorpio. And then the next day, Venus moves from Libra forward into Scorpio. So even though we're in Sag season, the sun is there, and we're getting more and more energy in that fire energy. Scorpio is still kind of running the show, and we're still taking in stuff from Mercury retrograde, which does go direct in Scorpio on the 6th. So, we just have that first week of December. We're still really integrating the Venus retrograde from November and October and working through Mercury retrograde. So already, take a breath. Mercury retrogrades are not here to disassemble our lives. They are here to have us look over things, to take a moment to breathe and pause. So don't fight it too much. Then there's a new moon in Sagittarius on the 7th, kind of closing out the retrograde seasons. All of the retrogrades have kind of concluded at this point. There's only a couple outer planets doing stuff, so we can take a breath. We're in Sag season. There's a new moon in Sagittarius, 5th house of your heart, right? And this is a really great chance to just take a moment and think about what you want to create next, right? With all that Scorpio energy going on as well, you're looking at how that is linked to what you value in your home space, in your internal world. So both of those, the first half of this month, you are going to be going there. Sag season's so great for Leos. It's so playful and fun and vibrant. And if you're a Leo rising, this is your 5th house. It's just a beautiful time of year. Yet this Sag season is not about just being extroverted and a little bit like, what's the word? Frivolous, I guess would be the word. Extroverted and frivolous. Because there's still all this, we're still recovering. I mean, when you have a Venus retrograde and a Mercury retrograde, it takes a number of weeks for those shadow periods to end. So we're collecting information still, we're gathering information. Mercury moves into Sagittarius on the 12th, so we build up some Sagittarius steam, and then the middle of the month starts to be kind of nice and chill. We're just going to enjoy things, and then we hit Capricorn season, which for Leos, we need to take care of ourselves, take care of our bodies, take care of like our weekly schedule, our daily schedule, what we really want to be doing. Capricorn season is really great for that. We have the Cancer full moon at 0 degrees of Cancer, which 0 degree placements as we know, are trigger points for us to look at something that needs to be adjusted. So that full moon is happening on the 22nd, right after Cap season begins. And once again, the moon nodes are in Cancer and Capricorn, so we're already getting hits on those energies. And to finish the year out, I just love this. I think this is hilarious. December 31st, Mars moves home into Aries. And I feel like that is such an amazing thing, because just think about that. Like, we're starting the year off with Mars at home in Aries, the initiating fire sign, getting that amplification, Mars really feeling amped up, feeling powerful, feeling strong. It will feel good. That will feel like a recharge. But December itself, this is what I want Leos to think about. I'm turning over these cards, and they're pretty awesome, you guys. But I do want you guys to think about a few things when it comes to this energy and how you're feeling through it and how you can leverage December the best that you can. We live in this vibrational reflective universe, and normally, everything is a process, so we have to turn the dial, and that is not something that just jumps from one point to one point, one vibration to another. You turn it, and that's an advantage to all of us, because when we get off and we're feeling a certain way, it's good that we can gently nudge ourselves out of there, right? We're not expected to leap from 1 to 10 in 2 seconds flat, that we can take the practice and do that. However, there is such a thing as presets. When you have one of those car radios where you have the presets, and you can utilize those. And I think, Leos, you are one of the signs that will this is something to utilize moving forward. You can have an entire library of presets that you can dip into at any point. But they take some practice, and they take some paying attention to what those presets are. And a lot of times they are very simple. They are very simple. A lot of times it is about choosing to be present in those things that bring us joy. So, every time, if you feel that something's throwing you off your game, or if you're feeling you wanting to go back to old mental habits, we want you to focus on creating a library of presets that you can go dip into and get into an emotional state that serves you. And I tell you what, if you start doing this right at the beginning, in fact, when you're watching this during this Mercury retrograde and you have this library intact, people are going to look at you and be like, what is the secret? What is the secret to being in that headspace? And here it is. It is imagining that space that you want to be in. Is it with a book and a cup of tea? Is it out in nature, walking? Is it with a friend that you love to talk to? Is it sitting with a cat or a dog and just being there with that being? Is it writing music? Is it reading a book? Is it being on stage? What gives you joy? Plug into that every time. Now, you guys, I already have to tell you, they're not in sequence, they're not next to each other, but the Sun and Strength came out. I know I've been giving you guys a lot of really encouraging readings, and I think that's because the spiritual road ahead for Leos is really strong. That doesn't mean that it's it's just given to you. No, you still have to show up and do this stuff. And honestly, a lot of times what's been going on with Leos is, instead of just being gifted some extraneous fluff, some relationship you don't really need or a job you don't really want, it's been well, let's take that back so that you can just have your core vibration be so strong. So, first half of the month, look at this, you guys. Could it be any more poetic? I don't think so. High Priestess, Seven of Pentacles, Sun, Page of Wands. Here's that Mercury retrograde with all that Scorpio action, all that reflective action, and this can even reflect that Cancer full moon that is in the 0-degree placement, is next door to Leo, is working at that 12th house. But here is a moment where you dip into your library, right? This is quiet energy. It is not about action. It is not about manifestation. It is not about forcing things to be manifested. This is very quiet, reflective energy. And you might be tempted to thrash around in this. Once again, December brings out weird emotions, even if you don't celebrate a lot of holidays. and you just kind of keep going along your path, there's this cultural thing going on with the end of the year. And it can make us feel really nervous and itchy. And if we have these quiet points, the thing is that this is where the good stuff is. This is where the gold is. It's actually not in all this other stuff that we're going to be talking about. It's here. This is where existence feels good. This is where it's actually easier to manifest, easier to be in alignment than when you have a lot of external stuff distracting you, right? So check in. Check in with what is really working for you. Is something making you feel icky? If you engage in a conversation with somebody or in a project with somebody, does it leave you feeling tired, drained, mystified, like you have to call back and fix the situation all the time? Because if that's the case, this energy is going to keep redirecting you to ask, is that what you really want? Is that what you're really after? Is that really serving you? So you get a chance, like that's the thing with the Mercury retrograde, and the first week of this month is really about this, up through that Sag new moon. You think about where you want to put your seeds of intention, where you want to plant your mythology. What do you want your mythology to be? Do you want your mythology to be that you try so hard, you give so much, and yet nobody respects you? Or do you want your mythology to be that people notice you when you come into a room, and that's because you exude an energy? What stories are you telling yourself? What timelines are you telling yourself? Because I tell you what, that whole like, I give so much and nobody sees me, nobody cares about me, nobody ever reciprocates, that's a mythology that becomes very real. People are like, okay, I mean, I guess that's what you want, so that's not the mythology that's meant for you. So there is a point here of like, hey, what are you doing there? The alternative, right, is all this gorgeousness. Now, this gorgeousness comes with the energy of being like, yes, I walk into a space and I know that things are going to go well. I walk into a space and I know that people will value my energy there. I walk into a space and I know that it will serve me. That's what this energy is. This energy is light and playful. This is when you are 7 years old and you are outside and you are doing something that you love to do, whether that was chalk drawings or jumping in a tree or playing music or writing skits with your friends, I don't know, whatever it was, performing comedy. Were you thinking about how it was going to go wrong? Were you thinking about how maybe you don't deserve to be doing this chalk drawing? No. You were in a state of faith. You didn't even realize it because it's so natural for children to be in a state of faith. They progressively learn fear thinking. A state of faith is just like, obviously, this is going to go well. Obviously. Because I'm in alignment, because I've decided that my mythology is going to be one of joy and playfulness and curiosity. I've decided that my mythology is that I am the one that people desire to be around, that I am not just this giver that's losing energy all the time. And in embodying that state, guess what meets you? It's a really funny universe. I know it can get really frustrating. The laws of this universe can be very frustrating some days because it's just like, I need help. Now, here's what I will say. There's such a thing as asking for help. There's such a thing as asking for your inner being to give you guidance. And there's such a thing as surrendering to that guidance. And I think that's really important for fire signs in general to remember, because we want all the movement all the time. And it's that whole idea that our mind is a tool to serve soul and not the other way around. Our soul isn't serving our mind. So remember that, right? Because here's the thing. What I'm seeing this month is one of those months that it can land either way. But what I'm seeing is you guys choosing this good mythology right away. Right away. And it bringing something full circle. Now, second half of the month, moving into the heart of Sag season, into the end of Sag season, into Cap season, look what we have. Strength, 8 of Cups, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. Ooh, baby. And by the way, outcome card, 9 of Pentacles. So, you know, we're doing good here, Leo fam. This is an amazing spread. And this is an amazing month of energy. There's a simplicity to the energy, and there's also a profound, like, getting back to basics. Getting back to basics. Absolutely. So, what do we have going on here with more of this Leo energy? Leo's feeling themselves. Leo's getting back into that mythology. Now, I want to make something clear. You know, the mythology of being like, of course people are going to want to be around me. Of course somebody's going to want to date me. This isn't false ego stuff, right? We can feed into that more insecure side of ourselves that wants to dominate a room just to feel okay. It's much subtler than that. It's really like you don't really care what anybody else is doing. You're happy for them to be doing whatever they're doing. You just know that your value in the situation is set in stone because you've decided that you're committing to the real you, to the real mythology. Here it is, all right? So strength card, there it is. That is what the strength card's really about. That's why it's associated with strength, right? It's not about unleashing the lion on everybody and be like, remember me? This is who I am. It's about being like, yeah, you got a lion. If you're curious about it, you're going to come over here and talk to me, but that's up to you. There's mystique there. There's mystique. And here's the other side of that, the Eight of Cups. There's the willingness to turn your back on anything that's not serving you. You know, the Eight of Cups isn't always about heartbreak and loss and all of that. This is a very empowered card. It's about choosing to seek out and turn away from what doesn't serve you. I feel like Eight of Cups is inspired action movement. It's not about forcing yourself to do something. It's not about ripping yourself away from something and just being like, oh, sure, there can be grieving. But a lot of times with this turning away from an old shoreline, it's inspired action. It's something that you understand is no longer serving you. I think a lot of that has to do with an emotional landscape that was based on false information. And that false information had a lot to do with how you were viewing yourself within a situation, giving your power over to everybody else, approving of you, making you feel okay. And this year, I think, Leos, honestly, it's been a year to check in with that progress on that lesson because it's so tempting to go back to. You've had periods in your life where you did get the accolades and you did get everything your way, and then you go through a period where you feel that that is not happening. You are engaging with realizing that that isn't actually where the goods are. The goods are in having your internal compass point, your presets set up. So you can check on that preset anytime you're feeling out of whack. And when you have a preset that you can push that button and your vibration is there, it is not hard to be like, oh, this isn't valuable for me. Next. And what happens when you're in that mode where you're willing to release something that is in the way, when you're willing to create space for something, which, by the way, Mercury retrograde, great for going through papers, great for going through old videos, documents, things that are no longer serving you, and get rid of them, purge them, simplify, pare down. It creates energetic space. It's not just physical space, it creates energetic space, and it creates space for these nights. These nights are amazing. This is fun. This is playful. This is moving energy that is about getting what you want. Yeah, romance. Yeah, excitement. Yeah, opportunities and offers coming in. Yes, I think the end of this year could be one of those years where suddenly the horizon opens up for you. However, there's always this caveat, which is that if you don't commit to a kind and loving mythology for yourself and have fun getting creative with how that feels for you, it won't happen. I'll tell you right now, it won't happen. You can come back to watch this video in January and be pissed at me if things aren't all like lovey-dovey, crazy, amazing. But look at how you've been talking to yourself. Look at your self-talk, look at your self-mythology, and get it right. However, this energy is telling me that the Leo clan is ready to commit to that good mythology. And that is where the Nine of Pentacles comes in. This is a state of mind. And this is the state of mind, in fact, that I want you to take with you. This is the state of mind that the presets get you into. You already have everything you need. You are right where you want to be. You are sitting in an environment that works for you. and you do not feel greedy for anything. You don't feel in a rush for anything. You are not worried about the timing of anything because you know that anything real cannot be destroyed. Anything real cannot be taken from you. You're good. You're royalty, baby. You know how to sit like this, you've just forgotten. This is one of those months that is lined up to show you that that energetic reciprocity is a very real thing. It could spook you. It could spook you with the power that it has to deliver. As soon as you're jamming with these ladies, man, that is when this action shows up. As soon as you're ready to commit to your own mythology and turn towards your horizon, movement, playfulness, take it lightheartedly. Nothing about being in alignment has to be something you analyze yourself into. In fact, it is very difficult to analyze yourself into alignment. Alignment is being that kid playing on the sidewalk or in the dirt. Those kids are not analyzing why it feels so good. They just feel good. They're just enjoying it. And as we grow into our adult bodies and we live adult lives and we come up against challenges, we forget how to trust that. This is not a month to overanalyze, overthink. This is not a month to force agendas on yourself. That comes after the alignment. But I have to tell you, this energy is amazing. There's something with the Leo magic that is working for you. Just remember too, anywhere you need to make space, don't be afraid to make it. The rewards are almost immediate once you make the space. But you have to do that out of a place that feels inspired by soul impulse and not just because you're trying to be a tough cookie or like you're trying to make a point or you're trying to be that tough woman that doesn't have feelings or that tough guy that doesn't have feelings. Don't do it because of that. Do it because you know it's something that's for you, right? I know these are all things that we hear and we hear it said over and over again, but there's so much subtlety in the feel of these. And that's why it's so important to check in with your emotional state and really hear it and really pay attention to it and not just put it down to, oh, I'm just not feeling that great. It's like, no, there's something there. Listen to it. Figure out what it is that you want to shift out. Figure it out what you want to shift in. All right, you guys, I'm so excited for Leos. I'm really curious about these nights at the end of the month because that is fresh beginning energy. You know, this is not about old, tired, karmic, over and over again relearning lessons, right? These guys come in fresh. They're like new to the party, you know? They have a fresh perspective. They're not working out of old injury. They're working out of inspired excitement. You know, excitement and romance. They're there. All right, you guys, once again, check out Vimeo if you're interested in doing a whole year ahead discussion. I do the major transits that are going on and how those affect different aspects of your life. And we also do some intuitive card reading for 2019 and a way to think about the year as an empowered space for you. So check that out. I am so excited to share it with you. And I will see you all in January for this whole Mars and Aries beginning to the year. I love you guys so much.